Hi everyone, we are going to talk about how to complete your color value drawing worksheet. You can complete this worksheet by printing it out and using a pencil, or you can complete this worksheet in Seesaw by drawing digitally. So let's talk about how to use a pencil and just a regular piece of paper to finish your worksheet. So value is something that we have learned about before, and it means the difference between light and dark. So all the different shades of lightness and darkness of a color is the value of that color. So when we are shading from light to dark, we know that when I use a pencil, if I want to shade a lighter value, like a 2 or a 3, I press my pencil very lightly on my paper. If I want to create a darker value, like a 6 or a 7, I have to press much harder with my pencil, and I might have to overlap my lines back and forth a few times to get the right value. So your goal for this worksheet is to match the values that you see above on your animal and then draw those down below. So let's start with the color value scale first. We are going to use this blank value scale and try and match up the values from the top value scale using our pencil. So you can use just a regular pencil, a black pencil, or you can use a colored pencil. It's up to you. If I am shading the first box here, number 1, this is the lightest value possible, so it is actually white. So I don't need to do anything to that box, I leave it blank. Value number 2, again, is very, very light. So I want to press using the side of my pencil, not the tippy top of my pencil, as light as I possibly can. And what I'm doing is I am putting down some color, but I'm looking back and forth to see if that color matches this color. If for some reason I have shaded too much and it's getting too dark and it's looking more like a 3, then I can always take my eraser and get rid of some of that color. To make the value a little bit lighter. Now, as I look with my eyes back and forth, that to me matches pretty well with number 2. So I'm going to keep going on to number 3. I'm still pressing pretty lightly, but I might overlap my lines a little bit more and press a little bit harder than box number 2 to get this value a little bit darker. Now see how this value is darker than value number 2. 3 is darker than 2. And if I can see with my eyes that change between 2 and 3, then I'm pretty much on the right track. I'm going to keep going on to number 4. And I'm pressing a little bit harder now. Again, I'm using the side of my pencil, not the tippy top of my pencil. That will help me shade the box a little bit more cleanly and quicker. Okay, I can see the jump again to 4, so I'm on the right track. Now I'm getting to the darker values. 4 is the very middle medium value. But once I get to 5, 6, and 7, those are what we consider the darker values. So I really have to press my pencil a lot harder for these. I might have to shade horizontally and vertically to cover the whole box. Okay, I think it's looking pretty good. I can see another jump there. I don't think it's too dark yet. Now I think I'm noticing something. I think I'm noticing that my values in 5, 6, and 7 are looking very similar to each other. So I think that tells me that maybe I pressed a little bit too hard in 5, because this is as dark as I can get my pencil in number 7. I've overlapped many times, left to right and up and down, and I pressed as hard as I can, and that's as dark as I can get my pencil. So these look a little bit too close to me. So I think what I'm going to do is take my eraser and just get rid of some of the pencil from step 5. I think I just got a little bit too dark there. So once I take a little bit of that pencil off, I should look back and forth in the scale and see an even jump between each of these. None of them should look too similar, and they should match my value scale above. So if I think I've done that pretty well, then I can move on to the owl. Now my goal in the owl is the same thing in the value scales. I'm looking at these values now and trying to match them down here in the blank owl. So you can start with any value, it doesn't matter. If I'm going to start with these two sections of the owl right here, then I have to try and match up this value down here. So the value scale will really help you. Try and see which value you think that this matches up with. For me, this value really seems to match up with number 4. They almost look exactly the same. So I'm going to be shading a medium value. It's always good to start lighter at first and then add more color as you go so that you don't get too dark too quickly. Notice how I'm using the side of my pencil still, and I'm shading left to right and up and down so that I can cover the whole area. Now this is starting to get close to a 4 value, a medium value. I think I'm almost there. One thing that can help you is if you squint your eyes and you look back and forth at the values, that can help you kind of block out the rest of the lines in the picture and just focus on the colors. And to me, I think this matches pretty well. So I'm going to stop. Now I can go on to a new value. I noticed that these corners of the ears are very, very dark. They're pretty much a 6 or a 7. So I'm going to shade these now as hard as I can to try and match up that really dark value. I know this is the exact same value because this owl is the same on both sides. It's symmetrical. So I know that I can shade this one next so I don't forget that this one is the same value. All right, if I'm shading a really light value like this top of the nose here, that matches up with a 2 or a 1, maybe even in between a 2 or 1. So I'm barely even gonna press my pencil down at all on this one. Okay, I'm gonna stop here. You need to keep going until you finish your whole animal. And once you have, look back at the values and try and match them up and see if they're close. If they're not, you might need to add more color or take some color away with your eraser. All right, good luck.